Good evening and welcome to Tech Nuts Tech News Hour. You're on Switch Brisbane, 11:97 AM and Digital Radio Plus. On tonight's program, Elon has been approved unanimously for the Twitter board. What is dual channel memory? We check out a monitor from LG, which is actually a television. Why do smart TVs kind of suck? And we check out something AMD's doing at the moment, which will keep one of your old platforms still alive. And Alexa's impersonating dead people. All that and more on tonight's Tech News Hour, here on Switch Brisbane. So the Twitter board's approved Elon Musk's takeover bid unanimously. Elon Musk moved one step closer to completing his $44 billion US takeover of Twitter on Tuesday, when the company's board of directors unanimously approved his buyout offer. The regulatory filing comes just days after Musk held a virtual all-hands meeting with Twitter employees, the latest sign that the world's richest man is serious about following through on his acquisition plans. Musk said he was putting the deal on hold, pending a review of Twitter's policies as it relates to bots and spam accounts. Musk threatened to cancel the deal unless Twitter offered definitive proof that less than 5% of its daily users are spam or bot accounts. In recent statements, Musk said that he estimated as much as 20% of Twitter's 229 million users are spam bots, 4 times the figure touted by the company. So pretty much he was waiting to see or verify that, because if they couldn't verify that the actual amount is less than 5% like they were saying, he was just going to pull out. And that would have tanked the share price to pretty much half of what it is now. So in this case, he did have the upper hand. This is Tech Nut with the Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. Dual channel memory. What is it? Well, dual channel memory is a way that the CPU in your computer communicates with the memory sticks. What this does is it splits the communication path between the CPU and the memory into 2 separate channels that run independently of each other. When your computer is working on something such as running a game, having single channel memory, that is, you've only got the one stick of memory in where you could possibly have 2, you're missing out on frames. And what also happens is, as frame data is loaded in, you get stuttering, because only one thing can access the memory at a time. What your graphics card wants to do is be able to directly access the memory without going through the CPU or the memory controller first. This is where you can get your frame stutters. So you may still be getting 100 or 200 frames a second in a game, but if you're running single channel, what'll happen is, as the GPU goes to access the memory, or say something in the background wants to access memory for whatever reason, you'll get stuttering. So the frame will sort of pause or stutter for a split second, and this breaks the immersion of the world that you're in while you're playing a game. And this is no good for maintaining that level of connection with the player in the game. HP and Dell and a few other brand name computer manufacturers are notorious for kitting out their off-the-shelf systems with single channel. And if you're unfortunate enough to have one of these systems, the best thing you can do is to open the box up and put a second stick of memory in. What I'd recommend doing is go to CPU ID and look up the app called CPU Z. It'll tell you what CPU you've got, what motherboard you've got, what chipset it's running, what memory configuration you've got, 2 memory sticks or 4 memory sticks, and matching up the memory that you purchase with the one that's already in there, or replacing the one that's in there with 2 newer, higher capacity and higher speed memory sticks could be a better option, and that'll make your gaming performance so much better. This is Tech Nut with the Tech News Hour, here on Switch Brisbane. This one's a little bit creepy. Alexa's impersonating dead people. Amazon's Alexa might soon replace or replicate the voice of family members, even if they're dead. The capability unveiled at Amazon's RE Mars conference in Las Vegas is in development, would allow the virtual assistant to mimic the voice of a specific person based on less than a minute of provided voice recording. That's a bit scary on a security level as well as on a realism level. With some government services using voice print matching, in Australia this happens, this does create a security risk because deep fakes are a thing. And I think we're at a point where we're going too far beyond the point of what we can do as humans versus where we should stop. Because there are some points with this where it's just a little bit too much. This is Tech Nut with the Tech News Hour. Switch Brisbane. Here's a quick one. AMD's Zen 4 CPUs due to be released. Some of them slowly leaking out. The platform's not quite available yet, except to OEMs. But it looks like AMD's going to do what they have been doing all along with their AM4 platform, and that is keeping it alive just that little bit longer again. Zen 4 is looking to be released at least in some capacity on the AM4 platform. So if you're running an AM4, which is pretty much anything Ryzen since day one when they first started, you'll be able to keep your board, most likely provided your board manufacturer releases a BIOS update, as well as your DDR4, which is great because it means you can upgrade your system for so much less money, creating less e-waste, and by spending less money on the platform that you're upgrading by just buying the CPU, you can buy a better graphics card, and that means more frames, and that means more kills. This is Tech Nut with the Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. We'll be back after the break. If you're looking at buying a graphics card at the moment, it's probably a really good time to go checking out the second-hand market on eBay, because with the crypto crash over the last month, because it's really tanked, pretty much anyone that was using GPUs to mine cryptocurrency, all of a sudden the cards are worthless. Ethereum needs cards with much more VRAM than is available now. And they're basically just dumping them as quick as they can to be the first ones to offload before the market's flooded ridiculously. So if you want to go shopping at the moment, I would be looking at, if you're using a full HD screen, say a 1080 display, set your sights on either a 1660 Super with their 6 gig version, or the 2060 Super if you want to try out some ray tracing. Otherwise, if you're into 1440p or 4K gaming, look at the AMD 6600 or the RTX 3050. They're both very capable cards, especially at the 1440 mark. They may struggle with 4K, but you can always either drop the resolution down or turn on the frame rate super sampling. The game is rendered at a lower res and then upscaled. If you're looking at GPUs, I suggest having a look at what the new or the retail price is on. And if you go secondhand, I wouldn't pay any more than about 2/3 of the price, but aiming to get close to a half the price. Also keep in mind, if you're looking at secondhand GPUs, keep an eye on the listing and check for how much video memory it comes with, so that when you are doing price comparisons, you're comparing apples with apples. And speaking also of GPUs, Intel's kind of left it a bit too late to release their GPUs. If they had released it in the last month or two, or even about 2 or 3 months ago, they would have killed it in the mid-range market. They really would have, because the market was just screaming out for cards. But they've only been available in laptops and limited desktops in China. Yeah, so they've basically missed a GPU launch again. So you snooze, you lose, unfortunately. This is Tech Nut with the Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. To put it honestly, smart TVs suck. The OSs are very quickly outdated. The hardware driving the smarts is slow, and the app support is determined by who paid to be included as a dedicated button on the remote control. I just replaced my 10-year-old 55-inch TV after it developed a fault in the LCD panel where it got a green fringe around everything. So what I've done, I went to, I think it was the Good Guys this time, but I bought the cheapest 55-inch television they sell. It cost me $500. It's a 4K display. It's LCD. And what it had in it, to my surprise, is the ability to disable the smart features by not agreeing to the terms and conditions, which meant all the smart features are turned off. And when I turn the TV on, it's on within 5 seconds, ready to go. What I had hooked up to my previous television was an i5 laptop. It was a 3rd gen i5, so that puts it about 9-year-old. Well, I bought it secondhand, so it ran my TV as a smart TV for probably a good 6-7 years now. And it's still functional. It's just because the new TV supports 4K, it was pushing the abilities of the laptop just that little bit too far. So what I ended up doing is building a small form factor computer that's half the size of a PS4 with an i5 8400T, which is a 35 watt CPU, so it's really low powered energy wise. But that thing is stupidly quick. It can do 4K YouTube provided my internet keeps up. And what I like about using a computer is it's a computer. It can run anything that you can run in a web browser. So if I've got YouTube open in one tab, I can either pop out the video out as a picture-in-picture, or I can just open up another tab, keep the audio running from YouTube, and carry on doing other things, whether I'm wanting to look up something real quick or if I want to key up another video. If it makes it really that much better. And it doesn't limit me to the TV apps and what the TV apps can do, because those TV apps for, say, YouTube, you don't have a comments section. So you can't partake in the conversation in the bottom of it. And if you want to go looking for other videos, it's very hard to do that using just remote control. Having a PC run the TV, which is effectively running as just a glorified monitor, gives you all the benefits of, well, a full-blown computer. So I can do anything on it. And one of my favorite things is I hooked up an Xbox 360 controller to it and loaded it up with some emulators so I can play some of the old retro games. And it does it brilliantly. It's great. But also, speaking of monitors, LG have released their 42-inch OLED displays. So if you're looking for the ultimate gaming in the dark experience, OLED panel, it gives you almost CRT quality in the response speed. Variable refresh rate, so FreeSync compatible, G-Sync compatible. Burn-in's still a thing to keep an eye on if you've got a darkened room, or if you enable your dark mode features in Windows. They make really good gaming displays for that. They're a bit expensive though. You're looking at about $2,200. That's for a 42-inch. Although Alienware, they have a 34-inch curved QD OLED for $1,800. It's arguably one of the best displays you can buy according to reviews I've read. It's available right now from Dell's website for $1,800. This is not an ad, by the way. Can't have those on community radio. You usually get those as sponsors. Anyway, this is Tech Nut. This is the Tech News Hour on Switch Brisbane. Thanks for joining me tonight here on the Tech News Hour with Tech Nut here. If you want to contact the show or send me a message or just say g'day, contact me at technutradio@gmail.com. And leave your Twitter handle or your Twitch handle. I'll shout you out on the stream. Anyway, you have a good night there. I'll catch you here next week. Same bad time, same bad channel on Switch Brisbane. See you later. Have a good night.